بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to this episode of Missing Ingredients here on Huda TV. I'm your host Abdur-Raheem McCarthy. We've been talking about the missing ingredients that we've been missing in our prayers, and we've been taking an in-depth look into Surah Al-Fatiha. And before we continue today, a quick reminder to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/missingingredients. Tell us what you're feeling, the changes you found when you start to mix these ingredients into your prayer. You start to make that change. You start to be brave and take that step in order to find the pleasure in your prayer, to attain that which you've been missing, to fill in the missing ingredients. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. This powerful verse where we stopped in the last episode, not realizing how strong this verse is. The actual fact that after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about the greatness of that day, the day of judgment, the day of resurrection, the day we will all stand and be held accountable for our deeds, stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be judged. The day that He solely owns subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the Malik of that day. He's the Malik of that day. As it came in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ taught us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come and He will say, I'm the king. Ana al-Malik. Where are the kings of the dunya? Where are you now? The true believer reflects on what's around him as well. Look at the days we live in. Look at these kings, these leaders who humiliate their people, who stole from their people, who have been humiliated in this dunya now before the hereafter from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Falling one after the other. Remember Yawm al-Qiyamah, when those who got away, those who somehow made it until their death without being punished in the dunya and that which is apparent, without being exposed, on the day of judgment they'll never get away. Because the only one who owns that day is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that great day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us how to be successful in this life and then be successful inshallah in the hereafter. Through إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Only You we worship, and only You we seek Your assistance, Ya Allah. We only turn to You. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ultimate trainer, the ultimate teacher, the best of all teachers, alayhi salatu wassalam, teaches his young cousin, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, some beautiful words, some words of advice for him to live by, to be a way of life for him and for the rest of the ummah after him, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. He says to him, to his young cousin, he says to him, Ya ghulam, inni u'alimuka kalimat. Oh young man, I'm going to teach you some words. Now pay attention. Who's teaching words right now? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What are these words? It'll be heavy words of advice, important words of advice, a way to live, a way of life. Let's pay attention to these words, this advice. He said, احفظ الله يحفظك. احفظ الله تجده تجاهك. He said, be mindful of Allah. Allah will protect you. Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Allah in front of you. وإذا سألت فسأل الله وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. And if you ask, only ask Allah. And if you seek assistance, Only seek the assistance of Allah. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. It's meaning. Only have your heart attached to Allah. Only worship Allah. Only turn to Allah. This is what Islam is about. This is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. This is the core of your deen. The foundation of your deen. It's what the Prophet ﷺ strove for. And you're going to see that now when you see Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, Sirat al-Ladina Anamta alayhim, the path that you got it, those who you rightfully got it, from the prophets and the followers. You're going to see the implementation of Iyyaka na'bud. You're going to see it when you see the Sahaba, how they strove for La ilaha illallah, how they gave their own life for La ilaha illallah, how Bilal radiallahu an, when he was being tortured, put on the hot desert sand of Arabia and Mecca with the big boulder on his chest. After they whipped him, and the cuts from the lashes on his back, he's put on the hot sand, and he's allowed to say kalimat al-kufr. He's allowed to say he doesn't believe for them to leave, but he refuses. Because Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in is too strong in his heart. They put the rock on his chest. He says, Ahad, Ahad, the one. La ilaha illallah. Refuses. Because he signed that contract of Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. He realized the reality. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. It comes again to remind us of the importance of one of the two conditions we talked about in the past. That no deed is accepted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after our belief, after we believe in Allah, except for two conditions are met. The first is the ikhlas, the sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second is the mutaba'a, following of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Following the sunnah of the Prophet. Any action that doesn't have these two conditions in Islam, it's rejected, not accepted. We talked about it. We talked about the adhan and the iqamah. Here's Iyaka na'budu, to remind us of the issue of ikhlas, sincerity. Now I want you to reflect the second condition of following the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, following his sunnah. Can you find it in Surah Al-Fatiha? Think about that. Reflect on it now. We're going to come to it later, inshallah. We're going to focus on the first one now, which we've reached. We're here now at it. Iyaka na'bud. Only you we worship. A reminder. Issue of ikhlas. Everything you do is solely for Allah. Your life is for Allah. You live for Allah. Everything you do for Allah. Everything you do is an act of worship. We don't realize this. We don't realize that the word ibadah, how vast it is. The verse that I've repeated several times during this program, because this verse shows the Muslim, it shows him the way of life that the Muslim lives, that everything is for Allah. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to say to his ummah, a message for him and for all of the ummah, all of his followers until the day of judgment. قُلْ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةِ وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Pay attention to these verses, the strength, the reality. It pays for you the way of the life of the Muslim. It pays for you the way of Iyaka na'bud. And by the way, just as a quick thing, a benefit for you, the Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, I mentioned this before, this verse, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, you say, we're going into it really deep. Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, wrote an entire book about Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. It's published now in the print that we have today in 4 volumes. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. It's a way of life. قُلْ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةِ وَنُسُكِي. Say, verily, my prayer and my sacrifice. And pay attention to the next 2 things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us in these verses. Mahyaya, my life and my death. My life and my death are for Allah, the Lord of the worlds, Rabbil Alameen. La sharika la, I don't join any partners with him. And this is what I've been ordered. وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, I'm the first of the Muslims, the first to submit to Allah through إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, the first to submit to him. The first to submit to Allah as a true Muslim, as a true follower of La ilaha illallah. The Tawheed, the effect it has on you. It has on your everyday life. My death. Think about these meanings in the Quran. Makes you think. We don't realize what true ibadah is. Ibadah is a way of life. Everything you do from the time you wake up in the morning is a form of ibadah. And this is from the blessing, the rahmah, the mercy of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim subhanahu wa ta'ala. That every single thing we do, every single step we take in life, we can be getting a reward for if we have the proper intention, the proper niyyah. We have the ikhlas and sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he trained us. He trained his companions. He trained his ummah. He never left us except for we're on the baydah. We're on that which is clear. Layluha ka-nahariha. It's not as like it's day. We know it's clear. He left us on the clear message. He trained us, but we don't pay attention to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Check this out. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he trained us by telling us about how much you can get the ajr, the reward, if your niyyah is correct. He said, حَتَّى اللُّقْمَ تَجْعَلُ فِي إِمْرَأَتِكَ. Even the piece of food that you put into the mouth of your wife. You feed your wife, you put that piece of food into her mouth. Your niyyah, your ikhlas, when you go out and you work in the morning, is to provide for your family. Even if you don't like your job, you go out and you say, hey, I'm going to do this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so He'll be pleased with me, so I can take care of my family, and I'll get the reward. You spend that money. You have to buy it. It's your job as the man to provide for your family. But you say, may Allah reward me for this. I'm working hard, making this money, and spending it for my family. Even though I go through difficulties, even though I go through hardship. I've had a hard day at work. I'm working all day, working into the evening. But alhamdulillah, I'm providing for my family. I'm a true Muslim, alhamdulillah. That's what the Muslim's supposed to do. Not supposed to go for handouts for people. He works hard to provide for his family. He said, even this piece of food that you put into their mouth, you get an ajr for it. Even the nawm, the sleep, if you have the intention. You put your head down, you say, I want to get strong. Even when you eat yourself, you say, I'm eating this food. Not because I love the food. My main intention is to become strong for the worship, for the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Eating the food, what you have to do to survive, becomes an act of worship. All of this is ibadah. I'm going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the essence of Islam, Tawheed, believing in the oneness of Allah, the same message that Allah sent all His prophets with since the beginning of time.
La ilaha illallah. You need Tawheed, especially at the time of distress, at the time of need.
Tawheed first with Imam Kareem Abu Zayd in Ramadan only on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back to this episode of Missing Ingredients here on Huda TV. We've been talking about Surah Al-Fatiha. We've been looking into it and the meanings behind it, the strong meanings, the deep meanings that we don't reflect on, wallahi. We pray our prayer in the turbo mode, speed mode, trying to get finished as quick as we can. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. A way of life. The way of La ilaha illallah. The way of the true Muslim. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. A reminder of ikhlas. Sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of our actions. We don't join partners with Him. We don't do anything which is not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We only focus on worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to share something here with you, very beautiful, that Imam Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned, rahimahullah, a basic principle, a basic rule in life. Pay very close attention to what Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, what he says to us, the way he used to train the Muslims and teach the Muslims, show them the way through the Quran and Sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon him. He said to us ليس أحد سينفعك مدحه أو ذنبه إلا الله. Pay attention to this. He said nobody can benefit you through him praising you or putting you down except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody can benefit you, whether he praises you, puts you down, says something good, says something bad. He cannot benefit you. The only person who can benefit you like this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you and he praises you, that's what's important. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not pleased with you, then that's when you have the problem. But the reality is the creation, you can never make anybody happy, everybody happy. And this is something I always try to install in my students and teach them and tell them. As we're giving dawah, we're going down the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know we're going to be harmed. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was harmed. We know there's going to be people who are going to stand in front of us, and we're not going to want it. It's something normal. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was better than all of us. He was the best of creation. Alayhi salatu wassalam. The best. But still, people tried to harm him. People put him down. Until today, people try to harm him and talk bad about him. But it doesn't harm him, alayhi salatu wassalam. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has raised him in his status, his name. Everybody who hears about him, everybody who reads his biography, alayhi salatu wassalam, they love him. No matter what the enemies of Islam try to say about him. Anybody who truly reads the biography of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they see he was the greatest man to ever walk the face of the earth. And the heart is filled with love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam try to give up some of his deen, leave some of his deen so the people will be pleased? No. His concern was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We see it in the implementation of the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see the implementation of Iyyaka na'bud in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only worship Allah. Every movement only for Allah. Only for Allah. Everything for Allah. Even for the affairs of the dunya, the money, he didn't have anything, alayhi salatu. He didn't care. His whole goal was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His heart was attached to the hereafter. Everything he did was solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They tried to give him money, women, the power, all of that. Be our ruler. Take all the money you want. Take the best of the women we have. Just don't give da'wah to Allah. Just don't call to the manhaj of la ilaha illallah. He refused. He said, no, that's not what I'm coming for. I'm coming to call the people, take them from the darkness to the light, to take them from the hellfire, inshallah, to the Jannah, to the paradise. This is my goal. And this is the way of the true Muslim. This is the way of Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'in. The ikhlas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sincerity in our actions. We can never talk enough about it. And unfortunately, in the world we live in today, people do so many things so what other people think. Our sisters don't wear the proper hijab. She's wearing tight clothes or a scarf, or she takes it a little bit to showing the top what type of hair she has. Give you a little sample from the front. So people will say, oh, mashallah. So the people will be pleased. The man shaves his beard so he can look professional, he says. Does haram, does this, does that. So the people will be pleased. But the crazy thing is, we have to ask ourselves, is the people themselves, if they know you're doing something for them, they would hate you. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he knows you're doing something for him, he loves you. Think about that next time. When you do something solely for Allah, Allah loves you for it. But if you do things for the people, they know you're doing it for them. Certain types of, especially when it comes to issues of worship, they're not going to love you for it. They're going to hate you, look down upon you. How can we fix our niyyah? Because the niyyah is not something easy to fix. The easiest way to fix it is to put our life solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Iyyaka na'bud. Tahassul. Put it just in ibadah, just for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is for the pleasure of Allah. Everything we do, every step we take, every look we look, everything we say is for Allah. Always keep your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah, as the Prophet ﷺ said to us. Constantly live for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he mentioned something very interesting about Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'in. He said that Iyyaka na'bud, he said this pushes away the riya, which is doing things for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Cleanses your heart of doing anything other than for Allah. Iyyaka na'bud, it pushes it out. And Iyyaka nasta'in, he said it pushes away al-kibriya, which is being somebody who is conceited or seeing himself, somebody who's proud. He said that pushes away Iyyaka nasta'in, because you realize the weakness that you have. You realize the weakness you have as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. We only seek your assistance, Ya Allah. This is the effect of إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. The surah continues. And before we go to the next verse, I'm going to mention for you a verse. A verse that all of us read, inshallah, most of us anyways, inshallah, as we're supposed to, every Friday. What surah is that we read every Friday? Surah Al-Kahf. It's not a coincidence that the Prophet ﷺ prescribed certain things for us to do at certain times, because he knows what's in our best interest, alayhi salatu wasalam. He was sent as a source of rahmah, mercy to mankind, alayhi salatu wasalam. Pay attention. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions us towards the end of the surah, on the last page, about those who work and strive for other than Allah. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Pay attention. Allah is saying, should we not show you those who are the worst in deeds? Those who have done they've lost, the losers, the true losers in their deeds. Should we not show you? Allah, your Creator, He's telling you here. Should we not show you the biggest losers in their deeds? الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Those who have gone astray in this life, while they think they're doing something that is beneficial, doing something that is good, something will come back to them with rewards, like those who have innovated into the religion, those who have done things out of without ikhlas, without sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All those who think they're doing great things and beneficial things, it comes back to haunt them at the end. They strove in the life, but they are the akhsareen, they're the true losers, because they did all of that for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The scholars of Islam, when they trained us and taught us, every night when you go to sleep, you put your head down. They said it's some time for muhasabah, to hold yourself to account. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because what's going to happen at the end, if you didn't benefit from your time in this dunya, you did something for other than Allah, you followed other way in the Prophet ﷺ, you're going to be from the true losers, in this life and in the next. Those who hold on firm to إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, they're going to be the ones who are going to be firm in this life, through the tranquility they find in the faith, in their iman, in their tawheed. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Only Allah. We live only for Allah. That's why you find those who are the true believers, they are the ones who find the true peace of heart, the true peace of mind. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you firm with the word, with the tawheed, with la ilaha illallah. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. Allah is going to keep you firm with your tawheed, with your worship of Allah, with la ilaha illallah in this life and in the hereafter. Pay attention, because the hereafter, you're going to stay firm through your tawheed as well. You're going to stay firm through إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. You're going to stay firm through la ilaha illallah. The first place you're going to stay firm is when your relatives and your friends and your brothers in Islam, after they've washed your body and wrapped up your body in those 3 cloths and lowered you down into your grave and put the dirt upon you, and the 2 angels come and they ask you, who is your Lord? Man Rabbuk. Here you're going to be firm without any hesitation. Through إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, you're going to say, Rabbi Allah. My Lord is Allah. No hesitation. And then inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, you're going to stay firm when you're put on the sirat in the end, in the hereafter. In the hereafter, when you're asked about your deeds and you're put in front of the sirat, the bridge over the hellfire, bi'idhnillah, you're going to stay strong. You're going to stay strong through your ikhlas and through your worship, through your sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that everything you did, every step you take, it was for إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ, solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. Allah will keep you firm with this statement of La ilaha illallah in this life and the next. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. This brings us to end of today's episode. So until next time, Allah knows best. Allahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad.